everyone, and welcome to The Apex, a weekly conversation with the titans and tastemakers of the automotive world. Our guest this week is Hedi Sessou, a multi-talented photographer, model, and founder of the automotive jewellery and lifestyle brand, The Mechanists. He joins us this week to give an insight into the more creative and artisanal side of the car community and to tell us about his journey in the scene. Hedi, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated to meet you all.
So my first question is, could you tell us a bit about how your passion for cars arose and how you got into it?
Well, like probably 95% of the world who loves cars, it's from family heritage, I would say. So we all have like an uncle or a grandfather or a father who had a special car, I guess. Mm-hmm. I mean, most of my friends, I would say. and yeah, no, my dad was always a big car enthusiast. His father was a mechanic, and my dad has been working into the oil industry, car oil, for a French brand, and he's been selling oil for cars and all sort of agricultural, metals. Mm-hmm. And so very young, like I was around classic cars mainly. I do like Formula One, or like racing cars and stuff, but for me it was mainly old stuff that my dad was working on most of the time. Yeah.
And so as a kid, you'd find yourself in the workshop just looking at what people were doing.
Yeah. Well, no, mainly my dad, like at home, basically was working on his car. He was doing everything himself. There were many brothers. There were 7 brothers, I think, 1 sister in his family, and big family. And most of them, they were able to like disassemble like an engine and to put it back together like in a day or two on their own. Like the guy, they were like freaking good. and yeah, so they were doing, it was a lot of like do it by yourself, basically. And so I've seen my dad doing a lot of that.
That's interesting.
On all sorts of cars. I won't say that I am a good mechanic because I can do a couple of stuff, but I'm not like, I didn't grow the same way he did. Yeah. So that car part, like that part of the car passion is not as developed as his, but I do appreciate the work by hand that I've seen in the garage.
So kind of moving on to that, you're the founder of the automotive jewelry and lifestyle brand, The Mechanists. What inspired you to start that, and what drives the design of the kinds of pieces you guys make?
Well, the designs basically, it's like all from everything like that. That kind of marked my youth, I guess, like my inspiration all from there. When I look at new stuff that's happening, and I appreciate it. I look at it in some ways, but the main thing that we started with in 2017 was the steering wheel, the basic steering wheel. And because I was based in the UK for 10 years, I was like, well, I'm a big Jag fan, especially the D-type, in fact. But for the first steering wheel I decided to create was basically a steering wheel of more like on the E-type, I would say, look. And I went from that to a very classic object, something that means a lot, like freedom for most of our parents or ourselves. Less for now because transport has changed a lot. But so yeah, it looks like I'm trying to find some pieces that are like that mean something. For example, we just launched a new bracelet which is based on a nuts, nuts is very basic. But it's such a key engineering part of any motors, any mechanical pieces, because the Mechanists originally is not just cars. I love cars, but I love everything mechanic, bikes, cameras, watches.
That's interesting. And what inspired you to start The Mechanists in the first place?
Well, I had quite some experience into different business development in the UK when I finished my studies over there, and then after like 10 years, 8-9 years working in London, I was I kind of wanted to, I felt like I knew around my 30s something I wanted to do, to launch something, to try something, create. And I was running the lifestyle department of the Hotel Café Royal, which is a 5-star hotel in London, which I really loved working over there. And I was managing a lot of lifestyle things, partnerships, and looking after clients, top clients and stuff. It was very cool, very interesting. And so then I was like, okay, I like lifestyle. I like the car thing. I always felt very connected to this kind of way of living. And then I was, okay, I'm going to try to launch something around this. And I definitely got inspired by those, with the budget that I had, I couldn't start everything. I needed to take some risk. Going to the jewelry business is big risks. Let's be honest, it's very, very competitive. But I've seen those hankers, boat anchor bracelets. We've seen many of them on the market, and as a jewelry thing, like to make, not too difficult. And so I was, what about around cars? And I checked online, didn't see much things on kind of car accessories and stuff that. Not something like too big and that shows you that you have money and you love cars. Whatever. Just more something like discreet and I thought that those anchors, bracelets, they were meaning like holidays, boating, and all of sort of things, and like good synonyms. And I was like, maybe for cars there's something. And definitely the steering wheel is something that it's like you decide where you go. Yeah. You go whenever you go. And at the speed you want. It means so many things that today we always take for granted things, but good reminders, I would say, and memories, most probably.
And it's a kind of subtle thing, isn't it, as well? If you just have a small steering wheel bracelet, kind of, you might be in the office or you might be doing something else, but it's kind of there to remind you what you really love, right?
Yeah, it's a passion, and it's a passion that is appreciated by everybody. I mean, even people that you meet that don't like cars, especially, they always have, cars, they are loved for so many different things. It can be for engineering, for aerodynamics, it can be just for the look of it. And very often someone who doesn't appreciate cars for their mechanic, for their purpose, for the economic value, whatever it is, people always would say, oh, okay, but I still like that thing on that car, that curve or that. Yeah, there's always a detail that.
Even if they can't really explain what they mean about it. Yeah, it's interesting because we were talking to Duccio Lopresto on a previous interview, and we were talking about the links between music and cars and the way that, you see a car and you like it straight away, but you don't know why, or you hear a piece of music, you like it, you don't know why. I guess in the same way.
I'm pretty sure it's like, it must be from your personal experience and, I don't know, expectation of what is beautiful or not, or what should look like what it looks, basically.
And do you think the success of your brand owes something to this increasing trend for people celebrating artisanal work and handicraft and kind of getting back to the roots of what makes machinery interesting for people?
I don't know how much people are looking into that as something like, to me, authenticity into what you do, integrity in who you are, and this kind of thing is important. We, as a car enthusiast, we know the damage and everything. We hear about them, we hear all of the things. And I just like, how could I say? I think it's definitely, it helps, but I don't know to which extent. And for me, like the thing I really enjoy into going this way was that I could reproduce. We can still make objects by hands. So everything that we do into the artisan shop in the UK, which is in Birmingham in the jewelry quarter. When I wanted to launch the company, I went to visit some different artisans, and I really wanted someone who would do it like with care, because it was just my first project as well, kind of like on my own. And I was, I wanted some care, basically into whatever work that would need to be produced. And I found this little family artisan jeweler. They're doing amazing stuff for amazing brands, but there was still like 10 of them. Compared to other company, there were 70, 80, 150 people. So, and I went with them, and I do, this is the thing that I like. It's not just for what you do, it's for the people you do it with as well. Mm. And I think this is something that into cars you appreciate, especially in the classic car. Again, I really speak about classic cars because in modern cars, I don't know if it's for the same purpose you like them. But yeah, it's something that definitely attracted me into going this way.
That's very cool. And one thing I wanted to ask was, we talk about lifestyle in the car scene, and I think part of that has become extremely visible as a result of social media. And it's always interesting to see what people are following, what people consider cool, attractive, or worth sharing. So you obviously must spend a lot of your time kind of keeping a tab on what's going on. When you're looking through stuff like Instagram, what kind of things inspire you?
I mean, that's the problem with Instagram. It attracts you. As soon as he knows you like something, he will feed you with. So there's many things that can really interest me. As definitely you can see a lot on Instagram, but I don't into what is into the car industry. I would say like all the motoring trends and all the lifestyle around the car industry. I think that a lot of things that are out there, we've seen them before. They've been redone. Like how many pair of gloves can you see on the market for driving a car? Like, I mean, like it's just insane. There's so many things. How many leather jacket, like this, the copy of the whatever brand, and it's so. I mean, we've seen it, so I don't take much inspiration anymore from that kind of thing. So I really go looking at different things. If it's for creative, right now I'm really working on clothing, doing some clothing merchandising, basically. We have to go gradually before to be able to make everything ourselves and to do everything bespoke the way we want. It takes some time and learning, I would say. So, in terms of that, I really go, I see all the, as I said, the car brand, what they're doing. I appreciate it, more or less. But there's none of my inspiration taken from here. It's definitely more all the streetwear brand and stuff classic stuff. I like classic things in general. I don't go crazy on anything that can be designed, that can be for the bracelets or for clothing, for example. And, but, I don't know, all sorts of things, to be honest, but definitely not what is already been done into the classic car market.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So what's the last thing you've been looking at that has been kind of fueling your creativity?
At the moment, I look a lot at... Okay, I'll be very honest. Actually, it's a business model of classic car dealership around the world, and a classic car. How do they do the business into different countries? And I'm looking at opening at some point something myself, and I'm really looking at what are the different trends into different countries. And the UK for me is a big thing because I've spent 10 years in the UK and I love the classic car passion over there. So I've been looking at what they were doing over there and how they share the experience for cars, even if you just go visit the showroom or if you make a sale. And so this is something I've been looking and taking some inspiration from. And otherwise, well, we just finished some concours photos, so we are finishing this thing off. And in terms of creative work, like photography work, I've been inspired for years by the work we've seen, and how we're gonna grow that company as well, actually.
So just talking about the photography as well, because I know that in 2020 you co-founded the International Automotive Photography Awards with Amy Shaw and Drew Gibson, and that was sponsored by some big names, Bentley, Nikon, other prestige brands. How did that come about? I know that you've done photographic work yourself, but why did you feel there was the need for that kind of competition now? Because it's a brand new thing on the scene.
Yeah, it was wow, it was such a fast and cool adventure last year. I studied photography mainly for cars a couple of years ago, and became very quickly addicted to it, like a passion. I developed passion quite quickly, I would say, for all stuff. Especially now, I'm very much into film photography, and living in London, the best thing that I had access to was, okay, cars, if you're into cars industry, because you start to know quite some people, but street photography. And so I spent a lot of time shooting over there and stuff like that. So after a couple of years doing this, more or less, at the beginning, every time after that, you're on a job and you shoot, you're a bit like, okay, to which extent I want to become a photographer. It's not like, it wasn't, for me, it was not like a job that I say, oh, one day right now I'm a photographer. It kind of like more happen slowly. And with The Mechanist, I was, every day I was creating content, like reposting some photos that I didn't own, always giving credit to the owners and to always trying to promote and to create a community, kind of like 90% of the account that you see right now, basically on Instagram. Let's be honest. But yeah, it was like always content. And during the lockdown, I was like, I still want to create. And the sales of funnily enough, during the first lockdown, actually, the sales of The Mechanist went up a lot, and it was a lot of demand, and people were spending more time on their phone, on their stuff. And but I wanted to create a new project, and I did submit some of my photo in different awards category. Different awards around the globe. And I was like, oh, is there any awards like for classic cars? And I didn't see much thing. And on Instagram, you see everybody trying to own some stuff with hashtags, basically. Then the hashtag that everybody will post to be seen. And I kind of like thought about that, making a competition like that, something very easy to enter for everybody. Whoever has a good photo that, with your phone now, you can literally snap some very good content. So it was, just like, okay, see like how we can attract a maximum of people and to make it attractive for, and how to market it basically. And social media, again, is like the best way to, and because also we have quite a decent following now. And I always wanted to do some work with Amy. Amy is one of the first photographers that I've met in the classic car business in the UK. And she's been lovely since day one. Like she's just a gem. Yeah. It's amazing to have such a person in the community. And I just suggested the idea. She was like, oh, that's a bloody amazing. Like, let's do it. Like, yeah. And then I was like, but I'd like to have more photographers involved. And then she suggested Drew. And Drew, I was like, okay, I am a fan of his work. I know his work, but I didn't know him personally. And I was like, well, let's go with the flow and let's speak with him. And I submit the idea to him. And Drew has been actually amazing to work with as well. I think we really have something good, a good team, and think the same, super open to new ideas. And we started this thing where you can basically post as many photos as you want, professional or amateur. It's £2 per photo. And I made a presentation. I knew that we had something like basically very attractive in terms of like the photographers that we have Amy and Drew. Not considering myself anywhere they are, but to have them and to say like, okay, we're gonna promote you guys. This is competition mainly to promote people who don't know sometimes how to use social media, but also, we have like some older people as well, not just younger generation. They have amazing work, and that sometimes needs to be seen more. And so that was the idea. And
brilliant. Yeah, we had
a weekly theme as well, where people we launch a theme, and every week people will hashtag with that theme, so we can see the best photos, and we repost the best photos, and we make a winner every week. And it brings a lot of engagement. It's such And it's a lot of good comments as well. It's a very good thing very good way to connect with the audience.
We actually had Amy on a while ago on this podcast, and I read over the transcript the other day, and it's so much fun when you read the kind of story she tells, and it must have been really great working with her and Drew. I mean, did you guys kind of swap photography tips, or was it really kind of thinking about how do we judge, or what kind of interactions did you have with them?
I think that's a good thing. It was super easy in a way that the way we wanted to judge was, we all have our, that you're not going to like pick the best photographer in the world. And we know there's nothing, it's super subjective, basically.
Yeah.
It's on the liking of the judges, and Amy and Drew, they have a very different way of photographing. I mean, Drew is totally motorsports atmosphere, and Drew and Amy, she's a storyteller as well, very photojournalistic, and a lot of atmosphere work as well. So the way they were discussing photos, it was always like their own sensitivity, I would say, towards what they like, but super open to new things. And for me, I like photography, even black and white. I love the things, and good composition of the image. I mean, I really enjoyed the phone category because it was a lot into the street, most of the phone photography. So it was kind of like street photography,
kind of drawing out some creativity there as well.
Yeah, it was. We've seen some insane things. I mean, seriously, with the one we picked, they are good, but I could suggest you like 25 that are like almost as good. It's like we are super, super pleased. Over 4,000 photos were submitted. So, and when we did the presentation, Bentley, everybody they just followed. So it was. It's why I was very sure that we had something new, something interesting.
That sounds really cool. And so, what are your future plans and vision for the IAP? Are you going to sort of grow it in size?
Yeah, so it's still going to be kind of part of The Mechanist in a way that The Mechanist would be like the brand that was around it and support it at the beginning. But I want it to be on its own. So it's going to be with Amy and Drew, we are setting up this thing up, and going to launch the 2021 edition. And but we're finishing this one already because all the prizes are on their way. I mean, very shortly, like they're going to be on their way to the winners. We'll see if we can do an event this year for the winners. With we say we'll print their photos and do a little event for it. But that's, I mean, with the situation, it's very difficult to see that far. I mean, to see 3 weeks away, basically. So, no, definitely we can keep going on. I mean, it was such a good fun, and we have many good ideas of how to.
That's awesome.
New thing, new ideas, and new people in it.
One of the things you said earlier was interesting. I'm just thinking about it. Is you do see a lot of this photography out on Instagram or wherever else, but I think sometimes people forget that underneath all of that is quite a large group of quite committed people. These photographers who actually do this stuff. I think if it wasn't for them, I think a lot of the classic car world even just wouldn't see as many cool, amazing things. That
100% agree with you. I mean, it's also Instagram. It will, if you have like a portrait photos, it will appear much bigger on your screen and basically get so much more engagement somehow. Like it looks better on the phone. But so many photos, actually, the winner, it's total almost panoramic photo, quite panoramic, and. I mean, it looks so nice on a big screen or something like appropriate for it. It's like, it's mind-blowing. So what you really see on Instagram, it's very, very often you go over it because you don't appreciate how small it is on the screen. But so here, I think it has really helped also to show that some people, they don't always post what Instagram will promote, basically. But they still have like super quality content, and that is nice. And from every age, even the like under 18 category, it was like mind blowing. Some guys, they were like, wow. Yeah,
that's great. I like the idea, bring back the big screens and, take a bit more time over looking at these photos. I think we're coming up against time now, so I've just got some quick fire questions to end with.
Yes.
So My first one is, what is your perfect road trip?
It will be a long one. Probably starting from France, where I am right now in Jura. I'm not too far from the Swiss border. I would go down to through Switzerland. I would go to the Lake Como, etc. in North Italy. Then go down to Tuscany, come back through the Côte d'Azur, and come back to here. It would be like probably 1,500 kilometers. But yeah. That's
a decent trip and plenty of.
It's the next one I want to do, basically. So,
so watch this space.
Yeah.
Cool. And so, a second question is: who inspires you in your space and what you do?
Well, in what I do, the people that I do work with, I really go with people that inspires me and people who have positive energy, things like that. Like Drew and Amy, they inspired me a lot. I work a lot with Alex Lawrence right now, who inspires me. A lot of people. After that, in my closer space, my girlfriend inspires me freaking loads. She is mentally like on a different level, which is great. And yeah,
that's fantastic.
Yeah, friends, as always, friends and stuff like that. But,
absolutely, good people around you. And so, last question is: what is your single money no object car? If you could just pick one to have.
I'd say D-Type Jag.
Yeah, one of those Ecurie-Cos.
Yeah, D-Type Jag or the 935 Porsche, the K3 and stuff like that.
Yeah, two very solid choices.
Yeah, both did Le Mans and both are quite exceptional.
Absolutely.
Yeah, D-Type probably is better.
And with that, Hedi, it's been absolute pleasure having you on today, and thanks very much for sharing your stories with us.
Thank you for your time. Very much appreciated, and take care.
Thank you.
À bientôt.